Now that's what you call a Spider-Man movie. So Spider-Man No Way Home tells a story about Peter Parker who faces enemies from other universes after messing up a spell that would help the world forget that he was Spider-Man. Welcome everyone to my first ever movie review here on this channel. I decided to make a movie review YouTube. So just let me know how I do below in the comments. For my first review, I wanted to do Spider-Man No Way Home. I know it's kind of late to do that because a lot of people already reviewed it, but I guess it's always good to get another opinion out there. So how it works is I will list my positives, my negatives, and then my final thoughts. So comment below and tell me what you would like to review next. I'm going to be trying to do these weekly. My next review will most likely be on the new Scream movie because I am a huge fan of that franchise. And yeah, so let's just get started. So starting off with the positives, Tom Holland in this movie was really good. I, believe it or not, was not really a big fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man until this movie. I watched some of Homecoming and Far From Home, and it didn't really drive me to like it as much as the other two Spider-Man. My main Spider-Man, of course, is Tobey Maguire. You can never go wrong with him. But when I watched No Way Home, I was like, wow, he was amazing in this movie. The way he delivered the emotion when Aunt May died, I just totally bought it, and that was such a great scene for me because of how it was different from the traditional Spider-Mans, and just overall the acting was just amazing in this movie. Not just Tom Holland, but everybody, especially our returning villains, Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. They were even twice as good as they were back in their other movies, and so just the way they were written and were acted out was just amazing in my opinion. Even Jamie Foxx's Electro, I thought was sincerely better than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The way he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was alright. I didn't hate it, but you know, I would be lying if I said it couldn't be better. And which, you know, was proven wrong. The reason why I thought he was better is because he had, I don't know, it felt more like a better villain to me. And the way he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just kind of wacky. But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a wacky villain now and then. But I really did enjoy Electro in this movie as well. The Lizard, they didn't really do much with him again, you know, so, but I mean, I can't blame him because what else can you really do with him? So, and just overall, I was really happy with them bringing these returning actors, and it just made me, and I'm sure every single Spider-Man fan deep in the heart, that these actors were more than happy to return to these roles. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing what Marvel can do, or Sony, to touch people's hearts like this. I know it sounds kind of like corny to say that for a comic book character, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Another thing I really liked in this movie was the score, the music. Especially, oh man, the best part was, to me, was when Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which I'll get into, met up with Alfred Molina, you know, Doc Ock, and you know, you could hear that Sam Raimi music, and that was amazing. But then even Tom Holland's music himself, which was in the other Spider-Man movies he was in, I loved it, especially towards the final scene where he's swinging around the city in that classic suit. That felt really good. A lot of people, I think in my opinion, would say that Andrew Garfield's score didn't really match his, even though it was a good score. I don't know, I may disagree. I'm not really too familiar with his score, so I may have missed it during the movie, if they played it, which I'm sure they did. Another positive I have is the overall story. I know a lot of people had a certain issue with Spider-Man 3 back in 2007, where they had so much going on, like so many villains, and they just couldn't focus good enough on what should be the main plot line. They had multiple going on. They had Sandman being the killer of Uncle Ben, and then with him and his daughter. Then they had Venom with the Topher Grace, Eddie Brock, and then they had Harry. I mean, obviously they had to have Harry because they set up that. And I understand. I know the reason why it was all mixed up, because of Sam Raimi wanted Sandman and Sony wanted Venom, so they put in both. But the reason why I bring this up is because Spider-Man No Way Home does a really great job of not making that same mistake. Spider-Man 3 is a great film. I love it, no matter what its flaws are. I'm not too expert on movies, but I do enjoy talking about them. And I understand what flaws were in that movie. And the way Spider-Man No Way Home handled that was very good. They just didn't make it too complicated. They didn't do flashbacks or anything like that. And if you've never watched a Spider-Man movie, it's just right there. They say it plainly. They don't waste too much time on it. They say, oh, this happened to me, and I know this person because of this. And so it was just great. I probably would have felt better if they added maybe 1 or 2 flashbacks, but they didn't. But I wasn't too bothered by it. And going along with how the story was good, there are 1 or 2 plot holes I'll get into, but overall the story's good is because of the lessons that Peter Parker learns in this story from not only these villains, but from the other Spider-Man he meets, from the people he loses, and then towards the end, he has to give up the biggest sacrifice, and that's basically his friends, because of the world knowing who he is, that all this is happening because of him, and that this is the only way that he can fix it. And that is a great lesson for all of us to learn. We have to sacrifice those types of things. Obviously, we're not going to go through multiverse stuff, but in our lives, we can learn from giving up some great things in our lives for the better. Now, for the mixed aspects I had of this movie, I only had one, and that is the magical box that was in Happy's apartment. I really just didn't really want to. I believed the Doc Ock cure, because I believe that this box could create some sort of chip. But for a cure for Green Goblin, just a magical serum that'll get rid of his insanity part, the Green Goblin part of his mind. I don't know. I didn't, for some reason I just couldn't buy that, because how are we supposed to believe that Tony Stark, before he died, just made that box for that? I could be wrong. I already know somebody in the comments. If they watch this, they'll probably explain and say something. But I don't know. Just an opinion out there. I just didn't really buy it. I thought it was a good idea, but I'm just saying that they could have did it a little better. Just explained it a little better. Other than, I have this box back here. I can cure you. I can cure all of you guys. My final positive is, of course, the returning actors of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I've heard some people say that Andrew Garfield does not seem like the way he is in his movies, and I can kind of see that. But it didn't really bother me. And to see Tobey Maguire again, my God, my heart is just burned in the fire of love. I really did enjoy seeing him again, because his movies were my movies growing up. That was the first movie I ever loved, was Spider-Man 1. The way that they helped Tom Holland's Spider-Man learn that, even though we can't save everyone, that doesn't mean we shouldn't stop trying. The greatest sacrifices we make in our lives, this is what we have to face. This is what we do. This is what we do as Spider-Man. The way they utilized Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's part of this story is just genius. They're there to help him learn the main important parts of being Spider-Man, to teach him what they have learned in their experiences. And the way they were written is great because they didn't steal the spotlight from Tom Holland. This is a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and they were very careful not to steal the spotlight from him. Even though it was great to see them, it was amazing to see them. They did that very carefully, and I believe that was because of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They said, "Do not steal the spotlight from Tom Holland." I mean, I think I've heard about that, where they said, "We'll do this movie, but only on one occasion, is that you don't do this to Tom." But overall, guys, I really enjoyed Spider-Man: No Way Home. I was very satisfied with this movie. I was very afraid that they would make a Spider-Man 3 mistake with, juggling too many storylines. But it was a great night for me. I've seen the movie about 3 times already. But tell me what you guys think below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you happy to see Tobey and Andrew again? How did you think of Tom Holland in this movie? I thought he was amazing. So let me guys know what you think below. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.